Missouri man was arrested and charged with first degree R and aggravated SA. First degree kidnapping and second degree assault nearly 2 years ago and has been charged with another gruesome felony. Timothy Haslett Jr., age 41, was charged with those crimes in October of 2022 after a 22-year-old black woman escaped from his captivity. She was discovered by Haslett's neighbor after they heard screams for help and found her wearing a metal dog collar around her neck. On Tuesday, prosecutors announced that Haslett Jr. has also been charged with first-degree murder of Janie Crossdale, another black woman. Crossdale's remains were found a year ago in July of 2023, stuffed in a barrel on the Missouri River. Investigators believe that Crossdale, who is black, was found deceased between June 6th of 2022 and October 7th of 2022. Photos taken from a device belonging to Haslett showed Crossdale inside the basement of his Excelsior Springs home. The blue barrel Crossdale's remains were found in also match other barrels at Haslett's home. It's alleged that Haslett Jr. once told the woman who escaped that two other women did not make it. This unidentified woman who escaped claims that he told her that he took them out, one woman with a gas mask and the other died by electrocution during a certain act. It's unclear at the time if Haslett Jr. is a suspect in any other active homicide cases, but it was also discovered by Kansas City Defender in October 2022 that Haslett Jr. has been making racist statements on social media for years. In one post he wrote, quote, "The race war started a long time ago. Wake up, you dumb expletive." Another post showed him making nasty comments on the death of Breonna Taylor, claiming that she deserved what took place. One showed him going into specific details on why he believed that black people are inferior to Caucasians. Quote, "When they decided to act like my equal, then we can discuss their equality." My condolences to the families of the first two women. Um, I'm sorry that, you know, uh, sorry that, took place to your, family member. I'm, you know, technically I'm pretty much at a loss of words, because, covering a lot of these stories, a lot of things stick with you. And knowing some of the details of how it is that people lose their lives, and it's not just by some accident like getting struck by lightning or some natural disaster. It's by way of another human being that thought of them as inferior, that thought of them as less than, that thought of them as some type of object or a plaything that they could just do whatever it is that they wanted to do and then just throw them away. um Again, I'm very sorry for your loss and what it is that you have been feeling and had to go through the many long nights and sleepless nights of worrying and trying to figure out and keeping hope alive that, I know that they have to be alive. I know that they're out there somewhere. The main things that families normally try to do. I am so sorry. Um, it's amazing to me that with the time and the climate that we're in, that even with stories like this, you'll still have people try to write off and say like, oh well, that's bad, but that's not indicative of every single thing. And this is what America is built off of. This right here, the pain, the suffering, and the blood of black people. This is how this country was formed. And you heard it directly, from his own mouth. He was basically stating that he feels and looks and views black Americans as being less than. And historically speaking, that's something that a lot of people have decided to try to hold on to and to make sure to teach and to pass down, because you have to look at the larger scope. Who do you think that he learned this from? Who do you think taught him, indoctrinated him into that belief system of seeing somebody else as less than or below because of the color of their skin? Like I said, it's crazy. And then you'll have some people throw out some whataboutisms and be like, oh, but what about what happened over here when it's reversed? Nobody has. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about this story here and who specifically did it and what happened. If you, as a person out there, at any point in time decide that it's a great idea to throw out a whataboutism, what about this, what about that? That means that you didn't care about any of this at all. You just wanted to say something just to derail the whole statement and where it is that it was going, where it is that it was headed, who it is that it was specifically pointing to. And 9 times out of 10 is pointing directly to you. It's pointing to your people. It's pointing to your community. It's pointing to the very fabric that has been woven directly into this society, which has made America the America that it is at this moment in time. And that is the hard, cold, ugly truth that a lot of people don't even want to face. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, doesn't matter if you're Republican, doesn't matter if you're indifferent. That is the fact that a lot of people don't want to look at when it deals with America. Over the last 10 to 15 years, there have been a lot of quote unquote homicides that have been labeled that because the police didn't want to take a deeper dive. There's a lot of stories that I've covered where suspiciously you have had black people, how can I frame this without it being problematic? Levitating with a line, from a tall object. That's the best way that I can sit up there and put it without magically it being some type of issue directly on YouTube. But if you know what I'm talking about and you know the history of this nation and what specifically they like to do to black people, how it is, like I said, I have a pictorial book. I have a pictorial book that goes over all of this, that shows a great detail of many faces. And all of those faces in that pictorial book look just like Timothy Haslett Jr., the same exact people who said that they modernized, they civilized the Native Americans, they civilized the slaves that came over, taught them how to read and write, taught them about God, turned them from the savages that they were into men, into human beings. But yet it's funny how those same exact people who said that they evolved, the savages, are the exact same savages themselves. But yet they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to highlight that. They don't want to highlight the fact that they are some of the most aggressive people on the face of this planet who decide to go out there and stick their noses into other people's businesses. How it is that they want to cause all types of conflict and war and then swoop in to make it seem as though that they are the saviors of every single thing here, as if they are the real masters of the universe, when realistically, they've never been anything close to it. They've been the destroyers. They've been the harbingers of destruction and chaos and the great many evils that run rampant throughout the society. But yet, they find a way. They find a way to talk down about black people. They find a way. They always find a way to make sure that black people know what their place truly is. Amazing, isn't it? But yet, this is America. And people say, things like this don't exist, nor do they happen.